Hey everybody, welcome back to the Billy B Show. Today we're going to get a little nostalgic. I know it's been a while since I've been on, so we're going to rock and roll a little bit today. Today, we're going to look back on how far video games have come, and of course, some of our favorite video games. I'm also going to go ahead and do a kind of best of, you know, like some of the songs I've played so far, some of the ones that I just really like and really enjoy. So, all right, let's see. Well, the first one I want to play is one of my favorites. This song is "Smoke Two Joints" by
three other
Sublime.
individuals.
Enjoy.
One of them was a male, and the other two, well, the other two were females. God only knows what they were up to in there. And furthermore, Susan, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to learn that all four of them habitually smoke marijuana cigarettes. Reefers.
At night, I smoke 2 joints in the afternoon. It makes me feel alright. I smoke 2 joints in time of peace and 2 in time of war. I smoke 2 joints before I smoke 2 joints, and then I smoke 2 more. But then one day, I met a man who came to me and said, hard work good and hard work fine, but first take care of head.
Smoke 2 Joints by Sublime. Sublime's one of my favorites, man. Always have been. You know what? That was kind of like your little morning wake and bake, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Bake your brains. Bake your brains. Anyway, I also want to talk about, you know, how far video games have come. And, of course, some of my favorite video games when I was growing up. That's right. Now, see, I was born in the 90s, which video games has already become pretty popular by that point. But my generation has got to see them become even more popular, which is awesome. Video games are awesome. I love video games. But anyway, let's take a look back. Okay? Now, everyone remembers the classic game Pong, man. Pong was a great game. Came out in the 70s. Became insanely popular because then it went from just watching something on your TV screen to actually interacting with something on your TV screen. And it wasn't you didn't have to freaking put a quarter in to play, man. You just played all you want. Spent some money on the console, boom, yours for the rest of the time. It's awesome. You see, at that current time when Pong did come out, there were already several popular video games out. Some of those include the ever-classic Space Invader. That's right. You see, PC games didn't actually start to get popular until way later, in about the late 80s and early 90s, when home PCs finally started coming out, man. Before then, computers were freaking huge, man. Could easily take up quite a bit of space. Almost a full room. Thank God for the PC. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, you've also got to appreciate the Apple II when it first came out, because that computer did have quite a few games that you could play on it. Well, I mean, not quite a few, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Anyways, let's move on to the next song here, man. This is another one of my favorites. This is Basket Case by Green Day.
Listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once. I am one of those melodramatic fools, neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Am I just up? I went to a shrink to analyze my dreams. She says it's like a sex that's bringing me down. I went to a whore. He said my life's a bore. So quit my white cause it's bringing her down. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Grasping to control, so I better hold on. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Am I just
Wasn't that awesome, ladies and gentlemen? Another blast from the past, song that came out in the 90s, man. Which is just freaking awesome. I did enjoy the 90s as a kid. The 90s as a kid was great, because we were the last generation that was able to really walk around at night, not have to worry about being picked up by some fucking weirdo in a van who wanted to give you candy. Anyways, let's go back to what I was talking about earlier. Video games have come a long ways, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not even going to lie. My favorite video game of all time is a classic put out by the very famous Mr. Miyamoto, the man who invented Super Mario. That's right. One of my favorite game of all time is, of course, one of the Super Mario games. It is Super Mario World, man. I love Super Mario World. I used to play it all the time when I was a little shitlin'. Brings back fond memories. Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny because, you know, back in the day, Nintendo led the, what do you call it, man? Well, whatever. They kind of led the future. They kind of took that first leap, man. These guys were top of the game back in the day when they put out the Super Nintendo. Not even kidding, man. The Super Nintendo was just freaking awesome. And then, of course, Nintendo put out the Nintendo 64. And by 64, that means 64 bits, 64 colors, all that other good stuff. And it's also when they first started doing texture mapping, which gave us our first 3D game, which of course was Mario 64, which was a pretty good game. I liked it. But the Super Nintendo had all kinds of great games on it, and some classics. One of the goriest games to come out back then was Duke Nukem. Yes, Duke Nukem 64 was a kick-ass game. I loved Duke Nukem 64. I also did play Mario Kart Racing. And for some reason, people always seem to forget this one, but I played Diddy Kong Racing too. Diddy Kong Racing was great. I love Diddy Kong Racing. That was one of my favorite games. Yes, it was awesome. But then at that same time, when the Nintendo 64 started coming out, the PlayStation started coming out. Sony released its first game console, the Sony PlayStation. And oh my god, did it do well. In fact, it is still doing well today. One of the leaders in the gaming markets, right up there with the Xbox. Poor Nintendo has sadly fallen behind. Which is sad, man. Which is sad. It does make me a little sad to see Nintendo not doing as well as they were. Yep. Oh well, life goes on. Get over it, fuckers. With the introduction of the Sony PlayStation, people were introduced to not using just one joystick, but two at the same time. And that is when video games started becoming way too complicated for some people. Some people just can't handle using two joysticks at one time, man. It can be a pain in the butt for a lot of people. And that's really what weeded out quite a few true gamers, man. Yes. To me, a true gamer is not someone who plays a game just for the graphics or the gameplay, but also for the storyline. If a game doesn't have a good storyline, not much point in playing it, is there? Don't get me wrong. You know, slaughtering your enemies and all that other good stuff can be great fun, but it gets boring after a while if you don't have a reason to do it. Yeah. That sounds weird, doesn't it? That was just awful. I shouldn't say shit like that. But anyway, the point is, game's got to have a good story. But sadly, there were some people that could not keep up with the gameplay. So, of course, there was quite a few gamers lost, but new gamers gained at the same time now that a new challenge is being put out there. Yeah. Good times. But some of the great games that came out for the Sony PlayStation was Metal Gear. That's right. Metal Gear Solid was an awesome game. A great game. Oh, yeah. And, of course, we cannot forget about one of the most popular game series of all times. Honestly, right up there with, The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario, Final Fantasy. There have just been a buttload of Final Fantasy games, man. And don't get me wrong, I love the Final Fantasy. Well, I don't like the new ones per se, but the ones they put out for the Sony PlayStation were great Final Fantasy games. That's right. For instance, Final Fantasy VII was the first game to use three-dimensional polygons for everything, where everything was in 3D. which that was new, man. That was groundbreaking back then. I was like, holy shit. Don't get me